able to deal with terrorists within our borders, within our territories. Then what territorial integrity is the military, the army maintaining? That today we have technology. It is possible to trace every citizen on earth and know their movements. We have technology for that. Why are we not using it? How can we be allowing foreigners to come into our country and kill our citizens and
undermine our integrity and sovereignty?
It doesn't speak well of the government of this country.
But sir, talking about this insecurity, even, and let me bring it back home, because something happened the day before yesterday. I was there, I saw it. Unfortunately, I saw that happened. A new trend is beginning to become more like a norm here on the plateau, in some part of Plateau State, just to be precise, that's supposed to be the city of Plateau State. Around Zenta, the Mu axis, Gadabiu, Tudunwada, Rukubaru, Faringada axis, this cultism has become something that I feel the police should pay serious attention to. A boy of about 19 years or 18 years was killed. Before me, I heard the gunshot. I was coming out of a bend when I heard the gunshot. But then when I came out of the bend, I saw the guy lying dead. And this is a guy from an opposite cult group that came into the territory of another cult group somewhere around Jantamanguru. And that boy was killed, brutally killed. His head was smashed with stone in broad daylight around 11 in the morning. And this is happening in the heart of Jos. I'm calling on the appropriate authority. There's a department called Anti-Courts. If you can hear me, there's a need for you to come out and do something seriously. From my own very record, more than 7 to 8 children. Children, I call them children because the oldest of them is not up to 27 years. Were killed from last week to today. That I know of within that very Gadabiu, Rukubaru, Tudunwada, and Jenta Adamu axis. Something needs to be done seriously, because the challenge is now we're talking about the Lakurawas, we're talking about the bandits, we're talking about the Boko Haram, but even in your house, you can't sleep. These guys come out in the morning, broad daylight, walk on the street, collect people's phone with guns on the street, and then nobody is doing anything about it, and you don't hear the police coming out to say anything about it. You don't hear. It seems as if nothing is being done about it. These guys are walking freely, perpetrating their evil within the heart of Jos. What then can happen if this spreads to other parts of the state, if it cannot be controlled here in the city of Jos?
Again, Pedro Michael, like I said earlier on, we are always reactive. We are not proactive. These cult boys, we even know them. We know
with
them
their
names.
Yes.
We even know where they're staying. And why is the police wasting time? Round them up. Go and arrest them and arrest them and arrest their parents and arrest everybody that is keeping them.
Sometimes they come and do this arrest, but then you see these boys come back again to the society.
And that is the mistake. You arrest and then you go there and just discuss and drink tea and laugh with them, and then you release them, and they return back and continue to be a menace to the society. Look at nations that have taken decisive steps against cultists. How did they achieve it? When people are violent and they believe that they have monopoly of violence, you have to play the game, meet them at their own game. And it means you have to match force with force. You can't crush violent people by just talking and drinking tea and saying we are warning you for how many years. You have to be decisive, because this is a monster that we're breeding in the society.
Of course,
if care is not taken, we allow this monster of cultism to keep growing at the rate that is growing. The time will come when God forbid it, we'll just be like Haiti.
Of course.
The country of Haiti has been taken over by gangs. Gangs are controlling the country. Gangs are controlling territories in the country. Gangs are killing people at will. Gangs are the ones taking decisions in Haiti, especially in Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti. So when you know that a particular place is a hot spot of criminality, the police should deploy personnel to those places. 24/7. Those personnel should be deployed to those places. And if you see anybody misbehaving, you deal with the person decisively. I know the police, the excuse would be, we don't have enough personnel. What are all the police on the street doing? Blocking road and collecting 100
When we have police, guarding houses
that are following politicians
up and down,
all over the place. Why don't you remove those politicians, those police attached to those politicians?
In fact,
remove those police that are just putting roadblocks on the road just to collect money. They're not doing anything. Why don't you deploy them to those criminal hotspots? Deploy them to those places where we know that criminals are operating. The surprising thing is that we know that these criminals operate at a particular location. Go there, you will not find any policeman.
And in fact, the most disturbing thing for me is the fact that even the police headquarters is housed by Jenta Adamu Ward. And yet these guys will have the minds to perpetrate such evil within that environment. We have the DSS office there. We have the police headquarters there. We have the A division there. And yet Jenta Adamu is still not safe. Gadabu is still within their proximity, within their, what do I call it, jurisdiction. But yet this evil is happening. What then will happen if it is somewhere around Dadinkowa that is far from the police headquarters? If they can have the mind to do this somewhere something is really, really, really wrong. Something is really, really wrong. It's either they have somebody that is really standing for them. There must be something that is giving them the mind to do this nonsense within that proximity, that close proximity. I find it very, very difficult to digest, sir. With all due respect, I'm calling on the appropriate authority to do something. The lives and the future of youth growing within that environment is being affected negatively. You wake up every morning, you see dead bodies. You wake up every morning, you see people with guns on your street, collecting people's phone, beating people's wife, beating. It is too much. There's already too much insecurity we're being faced with that will allow this one to be added to them. It's something. It calls for a serious action. It calls for a serious action, not later. Now, let the police do something now. I'm calling on the police, CP. I'm calling on every police officer that can hear me this morning. Jenta Adamu, Gadabi, Rukuba Road, Faringada axis, Tudunwada axis should be taken into cognizance. This environment should be taken into cognizance, and something should be done about it, because it is becoming too much. It is becoming. You're not talking about rape cases. You're not talking about the fact that people don't go out with their phones in the evening. Once it's 6 o'clock, most girls keep their phones at home, especially the girls. They'll keep their phones at home and then go out just to buy something at the junction. You have to keep your phone at home because you know. Okay, there's this shop in Jenta Adamu, that the biggest shop in Jenta Adamu. They came some time ago, last year. The wife to the son of the man that owns the shop, though the man is dead, it is called OC shop. They came and then they shot at the woman, the pregnant woman. Unfortunately for them, unfortunately for her, the gun met her on her arms. What if he had met the baby, the unborn child? It would have killed the mother and the child at the same time. They stole and stole, packed almost everything from the shop and left with it. This thing happened around 4 to 5 in the evening. Everybody was saying it. Okay, what will that small boy growing in Jenta Adamu, Gadabu, Tudunwada axis see and then emulate? The boy's future or the girl's future is being affected already negatively, because what they see growing, one of the gateways to the man's heart is the eyes. It is what you see that informs your decision. It gets into your subconscious. Some of these people will end up being traumatic because it is not something they want to see, but they end up seeing it. All of this has negative effect on us, and then we are allowing this to grow. It has been a trend for a very, very long time. I've been saying I'm going to talk about this, but then I don't know, it has been skipping me. But today, please, I am begging, do something about it. We will not keep quiet. We'll keep talking about this issue until we see a positive result.
That's right. You know, the law enforcement agents, especially the police. This is a very simple matter. This matter can be handled easily. All you need to do is deploy your resources to these areas where there is a lot of criminality. If a policeman can be guarding the house of a politician 24/7, anytime you go there you find policemen armed to the teeth. Why don't you do the same for the common citizens who are daily being attacked by criminals? Deploy resources to these places. You can also deploy technology. Simple drones. If these criminals see, even if it's just a surveillance drone that is flying over the place where they are, they will not have the courage, you know, to commit all those crimes. It is because they know that if they do it, they will get away with it. That is why they keep doing it. And then you need to meet force with force. But when you are handling criminals with kid gloves, they will grow in criminality. They will be more emboldened to commit crime. But when you meet force with force, when you're dealing with criminals the way they're supposed to be deal with criminals ruthlessly, they will learn their lesson. Because, you know, many years ago in the University of Calabar, sorry that I'm bringing a story, there was a young man, they call him Rambo. That Rambo was a cult leader on campus. He has been responsible for the death of students and even staff. And the police, you know, just gave up on this Rambo. And they left him. And he kept operating with impunity. Until the Vice Chancellor of University of Calabar in the 90s got fed up and said, this criminal, this cold boy, this Rambo must be dealt with once and for all. And he commanded the chief security officer of the university that you must deal with Rambo. The chief security officer, a retired military man, carried his gun and said, today, dead or alive, we're getting Rambo. He went to the hostel and was firing. He alone said, today, dead or alive, Rambo must end today. And this university must begin to have peace. And when he was decisive and he took the step and went to the hostel, Rambo was neutralized and the University of Calabar had peace. But when you are dealing with them with kid gloves, when you are not serious about security, criminals will be more emboldened and they will be acting with impunity. And that is why the police must be decisive and say we're giving ourselves 3 days to end this criminality. We're giving ourselves 24 hours, 48 hours, put a timeline and move in the troops into those criminal hotspots and let those troops not return back.
And they can do that if they really
up
want
all
to do
those
so.
boys, arrest them, keep them. Let's not hear about them again, so that those places
they can really do that if they really want to.
It's something that can easily be done. I mean that within 6 hours. Within 6 hours, if I'm the commissioner of police in Plateau State, within 6 hours, this thing will end once and for all. Within only 6 hours.
Well, we'll come back and then have that conversation in-depthly when we come back from this very short break. Please stay tuned. We'll be back.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It a kill love, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
Unity. Unity TV.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long.
Rightly tuned into the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. Of course, it is still that your most anticipated political and socio-economic program on the radio, the Unity Train. This morning we've had a lot of conversation around different /TV. Just and then on YouTube you can get our colleague. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Baba. And somebody, Ayuba Muhammad Rabiu, says good morning to you people in the studio from Gangare, Jos. Good morning, Ayuba Muhammad Rabiu. You can send in your comments and text messages. I have a text message this morning that says, good morning, Mike Pedro and the Prof. Looting and embezzlement is a cause of for our leaders to obtain as a degree instead of good leadership. They are busy borrowing and looting, thereby suffocating Nigerians beyond expectation. If the present is not maintained, will the future be bright? Our leaders have a lot to explain on the last day, as the sixth fleet is very ready to welcome them for the final journey. Regards to Barrister and Kulbi. Emmy Longs from Agingi. Thank you, Emmy Longs, for that beautiful text message. Before we take all the text messages and start picking your call, we are just going to look into the very recent happening here in Jos Plateau State as it concerns us. Talking about the appropriation bill that was passed yesterday here in the city of Jos, Plateau State budget. Let's hear the professor say something little about that.
Not yet passed.
Sorry, presented. That was presented. Sorry. I meant to say presented.
Yesterday, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, the governor of Plateau State, presented a budget proposal for 2025 to the Plateau State House of Assembly. A budget of about 471 billion naira.
Yeah.
Out of that amount, about 43.5% or thereabout is for recurrent expenditure, and the balance for capital expenditure. When you look at the budget, 471 billion naira, you will think that is big money.
Judging from the volume.
It's a very small amount of money, because you're talking about less than $500 million. That is not up to the budget of Harvard University, of Cornell University, or even Cambridge. It's not up to the budget of one university in the developed world. But that is the budget for the whole of Plateau State. There is nothing to celebrate in that budget and say, oh, it's a big amount, 471 billion. No. That's a very small amount of money. By the time you convert it to US dollars, you know that you are dealing with peanuts. And from that 471 billion, The government of Plateau State is just allocating about 52 billion or thereabout to education. And that is less than even 15%, less than 15% of that budget is allocated to education. He has tried a little bit to allocate 52 or thereabout billion, you know, for education, and about, I think, is it 35 billion or thereabout for health. Those are very small, tiny, microscopic